Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Monday here in the NBA. We've got 8 games to look at. A couple good ones. I do think some interesting lines that we have up. I've got a bunch of player props here for you, at least 4 that I've already bet, and then 2 strong leans that I'm still looking at, waiting on a couple lines as well for those leans. So that's why I'm just looking at some projected numbers that I have for those bets, and then we are going to jump right into exactly what I already bet. So let's go ahead and take a quick look actually at how we did on Sunday. We only had the live stream up. Do want to remind you to subscribe to that page and continue to follow along. Jump into that live stream each and every day on the weekdays, at least at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. On the weekends, we're going at a little bit of a different time. Those games drop a little bit earlier, right? So we go with that live stream a little bit earlier as well. But a quick look at how we did, where we came up with all these picks on the live stream, bit on the fly there. 3-3, lost 0.3 units because we did things correctly, but we got that money back from Kelly Olynyk after he completely dogged us on Friday and got a whole bunch of rebounds in the fourth. Quickly, also a great bet at under 29.5 very comfortably. And Clint Capella had the 10 boards right there at halftime. Wish we had put a little bit more on him and probably laddered that one as well, as Capella has been a beast on the boards in the last 5. And a nice win for Atlanta at the Clippers. What a wild way to end the weekend for them. And then Joker did not get his assists. He had 8.5, ended with 7 rather. We needed him to get 9. And then Gafford did not get his points because Derek Lively came in and got his points because Gafford got fouls in the first quarter. 2 quick fouls, came out. Derek Lively got a bunch more minutes as a result. He had 12 points, which was what we needed here from Daniel Gafford, who probably would have gotten at least 4 or 5 of those points from Lively if he had been in. And then Claxton couldn't get one more bucket, going 4 for 9 right around the rim. Wemby blocked him twice. It was tough, but we only lost the 0.3 units, still up 24.9 in the season and 32.1 on the player props. And we're almost back to even there on the sides and totals. I don't have any sides and totals here for you in this one. I just have player props. Let's look at my first guy here, Isaiah Hartenstein on the Knicks. And we're looking at over 8.5 boards for Isaiah, minus 113 with the full unit, but we've got a ladder play here. 10 plus boards for him to get, that is plus 136, got a half unit on it. And 12 plus is 330, plus 330 there on your money, 0.2 units for Hartenstein to do that against the Dubs tonight in Golden State. I think he's off his minutes restriction, and he's played as many as like 38 minutes over the course of about a week when he was not on a minutes restriction before he got hurt, much earlier in the season, obviously, but before he got hurt. And also without OG, he's taken some minutes from a few guys, and OG will not be playing in this one, Anunoby specifically for the Knicks. He got 6 rebounds, did Hartenstein, in under 20 minutes in his last game versus the Warriors here is what that should say. Obviously, he's on the Knicks in the last game where they played the Warriors. Golden State does allow the 4th most rebounds to his rebounding profile and the 8th most points per game to the roll man. And I expect him to continue to be that roll man most frequently when he's in there with Jalen Brunson, which will be the case in this game. So I think the fact that he'll be running towards the basket on offense with the ability to get those offensive boards, and Golden State has struggled a lot more in the defensive side of the rebounding than they have offensively, where they've been really good attacking the glass, getting offensive boards. Not been the case for them here as far as the defensive rebounds go. So I do expect Hartenstein to be attacking that glass. One more bet from that game with the Knicks here, Dante DiVincenzo. We're going with him to get over 17.5 points in this game, minus 105. That'll probably keep rising. It was at 16.5 for DDV before OG Anunoby was officially ruled out. Now that he's officially ruled out, we see that point drop go up once for him, now up to 17.5, but we get really good juice on it at minus 105 on MGM. The last game that he played versus Golden State, messed that up again. He was 2 for 12. That was without OG Anunoby and with Jalen Brunson. 2 for 12 from deep, 6 for 21 from the field. I don't tell you that to say he had a good percentage, and so we should chase him to score more points again. He had 16 points on 21 shots. Very bad, awful day. That's the anomaly. We don't expect that to happen again. If he's going to have a similar volume of shots where he gets 20 field goal attempts in this game, I got to like him to get over 17.5 points. He would have to shoot abysmally once more in order to not make this prop with that level of volume. And as far as catch and shoot stuff goes, this is where Golden State's weak. You're going to see a lot more opportunities for him to get that catch and shoot stuff off with Jalen Brunson in there, receiving the bulk of the attention on defense from Golden State. And then the kick out should be even more frequently passed to Dante DiVincenzo, because OG Anunoby does steal a few 3-point attempts, at least from the corner. That's where Dante is scoring a bunch of his points when OG's not in. When OG is in, he has to come much higher up to the above the break 3, which is still going to be available for him in this one, because like I said, if you are catch and shoot, if you are a guy who does that with a lot of frequency, then you're going to get opportunities against this Warriors squad who does give those up. So we like him to get the volume here, and a strict volume play, you have to take him to get points in a situation where he's going to get more field goal attempts than he's required to get All right, stay with me on best bet number 4. We are going under, or rather number 3, excuse me, under for DeMar DeRozan, 25.5 points. Half a unit, minus 115. I only have the half unit on there because I still get scared at the thought of DeMar just going clean off against this Portland team. And I'm not sure 100% if this Portland team's ability to limit free throws as of late is true or not. So if you look at some of the stuff we have here for him to get under 25.5, Portland does defend the mid-range well. That's what you look at with DeMar is the other team capable of stopping that mid-range shot? If yes, then it's a bad matchup for DeMar. We know that's where he's taking the bulk of his shots and continues to be the mid-range god. Portland is allowing the 6th fewest points per possession in ISO. So in ISO ball, when he's in isolation, which is what DeMar does very frequently as well, get ISO ball on the corner down all the way to the baseline. If he's not able to get that off quite as well against this Portland team who has defended that super well, in part because they will double and they will try to take away your team's best player. That's how they played all season with Chauncey Billups. Then yeah, we're going to see DeMar get doubled a lot and have to kick out a bunch more than he's going to be able to shoot. The defensive free throw attempt rate is what I was talking about for Portland a second ago, where they are in the bottom 5 on the season, 26th overall. But in their last 5, they're back up to about 6th best in terms of limiting the other team's free throw attempts. That said, the teams that they played in their last 5 are not teams that you necessarily think of as teams that attack the basket super consistently. The Pellies, although they are really good going to the basket, they still haven't gone quite as much as you'd expect from them. A bit more mid-range and a lot of threes coming with Trey Murphy. Atlanta, also a team that hasn't gotten to the free throw line too well without Trae Young, although they've been a bit better as well, especially last night against those against those Clippers. They play the Lakers tonight. And then Boston is not a team either that has gotten to the free throw line that consistently. I mean, they are going to be good at limiting free throws and getting to the free throw line a bit is Boston. Still okay. New York, another team, they've taken a lot of jump shots, in Toronto, awful at getting to the free throw line. So it's been about average in terms of their opponent's ability to get to the free throw line. So I don't want to assume right away. That's why pretty much that reason right there alone is the reason I went with a half a unit on this bet rather than the full unit. With my level of confidence, just need to see a little bit from the free throws, because he has 10 free throw attempts per game in his last 10 games, does DeMar. The thing is Chicago has played a ton as of late, and DeMar is going to be one of the older dudes on the team playing the most minutes for sure. 9th game in 14 days for Chicago. That's a lot of games in a small amount of time, I should say. And on one day of rest, which he is here, he's at 22.5 points per game on the season. If you look at back-to-backs, which he's not, but if you looked at back-to-backs for him, it's even fewer. So we know that he does require a bit more rest when it comes to his ability to score points, even with the minutes there. So I do like him to go under a bit more at home as well, where he has about 10 points per game fewer over his last 7 at home versus his last 7 on the road. Much different in terms of the 19.5 points per game that he's getting at home versus about the 27 or so that he's getting on the road. So much better, as you see there. The one more shout out for the live stream today at 5:30. I'll be looking at these leans, and that's why I bring it up, because I've got a couple leans here for you, and I need to get those lines before I can get these bets placed, right? So I'm going to hopefully have a bit more at 5:30 p.m. Eastern today, where I'll be able to tell you exactly how I'm playing, or have played these 3 leans that I have here for you, because I like all of them, but I need to see exactly what the lines are going to be for them, right? Buddy Hield, I'm eyeing because of the fact that this Miami team is so bad against catch and shoot players. They give up the 3rd most attempts, the 3rd most makes. They have the highest points per possession against them when dudes are shooting off of the catch and shoot, or the spot up, if you will. And that's where Buddy Hield, as we know, is the deadliest, right? He is going to be the dude taking the most shots in that situation for this Philly team, especially with Tyrese Maxey in there and his ability to play off of Maxey around the perimeter and be that guy that's there for the kick out. I obviously would love this even more, honestly, if Joel was in, but he wouldn't be this high. But the 10.5 points is a little bit low compared to what he has done on the season at times, because of the fact that he's been getting his minutes cut up a little bit over the last 5 games. I'm sort of banking on the idea that Tobias Harris is not going to play in this one. He's a strong questionable and was not available for shoot around today. So that does makes you seem to think that he's going to be tending to not play rather than play when he's questionable for Tobias Harris, which just opens up a bunch more shots for Buddy Hield, as Harris has been the other dude shooting a bunch of catch and shoot stuff for this Philly team. So despite his minutes dropping, I think that's combated by Toby Harris not playing. If you talk about how he's done against Miami in the past, even in the one game that he's played Miami with this Philly team, Buddy Hield went clean over, 22 points, 5 for 11 from deep. Where I'm getting these numbers from for the 2.5 threes and the 10.5 point line is from his recent numbers. So if you look at his recent lines, they've been anywhere from 9.5 to 12.5 points that he's been set. His line has been set at that by the books. And if he's going to be at anywhere from 10.5 to 12.5, I'm going to take the over. You can see on the points, I said I'd play up to about 12.5. But on the threes, if I'm playing the threes for over 2.5, I should be getting decent money there, close to even. And if I play 4+ threes, I better be getting at least about 150 or better for him to hit that. Probably closer to 1 plus 180 is what I'd be looking at if I'm taking a 3-point prop for Buddy Hield to get at least 4 made threes. Then I need that closer to plus 180, like I said, closer to 200. Then I need it closer to 100. Let's put it that way. Another lean that I have here is Peyton Pritchard, and I don't have a line for him as well, but I'm watching dudes just drop out of the lineup for Boston. As you see, like a ton of dudes, right? We've got Jaylen Brown is questionable. Jason Tatum is questionable. We've also got Sam Hauser now completely out. We've got Drew Holiday already ruled out. Al Horford ruled out. So you know that they're already playing the Detroit Pistons, who are tanking and have a bunch of dudes out themselves, including Ausar Thompson is out in that one for them, and a couple other guys. That's scrolling there on the bottom that you can see for Detroit, who's going to be out for them in this one. It's a lot of guys, and at least one of the Jays probably sits, right? We saw Jaylen Brown sit the other night. Maybe Jason Tatum gets a break after going for 31 against the Wizards yesterday. No reason to play him 2 nights in a row. If you've got Jaylen Brown, who sat last night and can come back in this one, right? So with all those dudes sitting, this is where we see Peyton Pritchard going off. There's 2 things working for us. A lot fewer players available for Boston, plus the likelihood of a blowout for Boston, even with their backups against this Detroit team, especially if Cade Cunningham doesn't play, who is a legit questionable. He was at shoot around, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. If this was a playoff game, yeah, Cade Cunningham would be in there. But this ain't no playoff game, and Detroit has no reason to continue to win games this season. They just want to get their guys some run. With that said, there's no reason to play Cade in a game that you've already sort of given up at Boston, right? This is not a good play for them. So I would put a full unit on Peyton Pritchard over 4.5. We've seen this as low as 3.5, especially because Derek White is likely to play in this one. He doesn't seem to be on the injury report anywhere. So that would be at least one guard that is available for Boston. But their bench is going to be short, and Pritchard should be getting 28, 30 minutes, and it could be up to like 32, 33 if this thing is pretty much over by the first half, right? And then you see Pritchard play a lot in that situation, and he's shown a propensity to get dimes way more than shoot the 3 like he was when he was drafted, shooting a lot more 3s when he got his minutes. And it's just about if he gets the 28 to 32 minutes, and I said, like I said, I put his ceiling at like 33, 34 minutes in this game. If it goes according to plan for Boston and everything works right, then the potential assists are going to be there. He's coming off a 13 assist game in this last one where Boston was missing a bunch of dudes as well against Washington. So we're going to take Peyton to get his assists in this one, and we'll come back to this in the live stream as well. And the only other one that I'm leaning into and haven't bet yet is this Brandon Podziemski under, because I really do like this lean, but I think we might be able to get this up a little bit. OG Anunoby is now out for the Knicks, and I do think that they're expecting a few more points in this game now that OG is ruled out for the Knicks and how important he is on defense, obviously. This prop might rise even further as we've gotten some better juice on the under for him to go on the 19.5 PRA there. But I think we might get this at 20 or 21 before close. So I'm waiting to see 5:30 p.m. Eastern. When that live stream goes, I'm going to be up here talking about if I am betting that Brandon Podziemski bet here. And then the reasoning being this matchup is awful for him with Josh Hart. There's all these dudes that play just like him, right? Like he's a very Swiss Army knife style player, like a Josh Hart, like a Dante DiVincenzo. So there's going to be a lot of guys who are doing the hustle stuff that he does. They're going to be looking for, they're going to be playing D on him in the same style that he wants to play offense. It's kind of like playing yourself there. And that's why I think it's a big reason for why in this pretty much exact situation where we saw Jalen Brunson in for the Knicks and we saw OG Anunoby out for the Knicks, plus everybody that was in for the Warriors tonight was playing in that game as well. Actually, Chris Paul, I don't believe was available, so he should be eating into Podziemski's minutes as well, especially with the second unit. If I have him at about 28, 30 minutes max, then I think there's a good chance of like above a 60% chance that he goes under the 20 points. I think he needs to get the like 34 or so minutes that he's capable of getting, but he needs to get 34 minutes for me to feel comfortable about him going over in this one. So that is all the time I have for you guys in this one. I am going to be back, like I said, here on the dot, 5:30 Eastern PM time tonight. Also going to have more college basketball. Going to have brackets coming out. I have videos coming out with Burt Oaks. He's going to be putting videos up. My man killed these conference tournaments. You could have hedged everything he had, but I think he had 4 of the 6 conference championships correct, and made a bunch of money with futures bets. And that's how we're going to be playing this March Madness bracket as much as anything, right? We're going to be looking at the futures and who has the best shot. So continue to follow along and subscribe to that page. See y'all at 5:30. And until then, happy betting.